This week on The Big Room.
This movie is named after this poem.
Oh no.
The TV show named after this poem.
How many things are there?
There are 14 things in the poem. Oh, I was sitting there counting, and I'm out of fingers. So then I'm Googling it, and I'm reading the poem.
Fingers. How many fingers do people have?
14 things
I hate about you.
14 things.
That just doesn't roll off the tongue. That's funny. I never thought to count them. Welcome back to The Big Room and a new month.
It's February.
It's February.
The month of love.
The month of love.
The month of my birth.
A month that is the home of one of society's most vapid holidays, Valentine's Day. I hate Valentine's Day. To celebrate it, though, we're going to watch 4 films in one of the most vapid genres. That is rom-coms. So we have 4 rom-coms lined
Boo.
This was your idea.
I'm booing his.
was our
I'm
idea.
booing him saying
okay.
it's a vapid genre.
That makes more sense.
This is also a dictatorship. Rom-coms are dumb. So, no, 3 of these are true rom-coms, and there's one I picked so that I don't kill myself. First, though, before we get into the movie, we have Corrections Corner. Corrections Corner. So, last week we did a Cinderella movie, and I conflated 2 versions of the Cinderella story.
How embarrassing.
And I am
you.
here to hit Control Z on that and correct it. So I kept drawing back to the Brothers Grimm version of Cinderella and saying that it was mostly the same, but with added foot manipulation, or mutilation rather, to the Disney Cinderella. I was wrong. What I was thinking of is the Charles Perrault, who knows, he's a Frenchist, version from 1697.
Oh.
And that one has the fairy godmother, the pumpkin carriage, the mouse horses, and all that crap. The Brothers Grimm has like a magic tree instead.
It's cool.
But
what
it has,
does the tree do?
I don't remember, and I'm not going to look it up. But I do know that the Brothers Grimm version does have the feet mutilation, and I can hardly be faulted for that being the standout difference. So there you go. That was Correction Corner. Thank you. Now, I don't want to get off on any tangents, so I want to get right back into the movie. We watched 10 Things I Hate About You, a movie that left me wondering what the hell the title was about for an hour and a half.
Yep.
Of the hour and,
then
39 minutes.
And then once they revealed what it was about, it still made me mad.
It made you mad?
We'll get there.
Oh,
yeah, we will.
man.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
So this is a
I don't know
film.
if it made me mad, but I'm kind of there with you there, Nick.
This is your idea. You are the reason we watched this.
I know. I'm sorry. I've never seen it, and I wanted to see it, and it seemed like it was a classic. So
It
here
is
we
a
are.
classic.
It is a
You
classic.
I
animals.
enjoyed it for the most part. I just
Yeah.
I wanted to
think
put
they pulled a punch that I don't think they should have pulled.
I wanted to put an Ewan McGregor film on this list, and it got bumped for 10 Things I Hate About You.
Wait,
Wait, which one?
I don't
Train
remember.
Spotting?
We looked it up. No, God, yeah. The great rom-com Train Spotting. A movie so rom and com, we removed it from the list last year for being too heavy.
Yeah.
So this
I
movie,
was like, we don't want to watch that.
this movie was released in 1999. It stars Julia Stiles, Heath Ledger, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Larissa Olenek. It had a budget of $13 million. It earned $60 million at the box office. Larry Miller is the actor who played the father, Walter Stratford, in the film.
Oh, that one guy from all the 90s movies.
He reprises his role. He's the only character, in fact, to reprise his role in the television reboot 10 Things I Hate About You from the
They made a
2010s.
show?
I watched it. It was bad.
It lasted 20 episodes before being canceled due
It
to
was
poor
not-
ratings.
Not good.
And Lindsay Shaw from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide played the lead role of Kat Strafford.
I like her.
Yeah, Mose. So,
She was better as Mose.
yes.
The Cameron was better in this movie. It was something.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt also was miscredited. Well, he was credited with his name respelled. The dash was in the wrong place. They did Joseph Dash
The
Gordon
audacity.
Ooh.
instead of Joseph Gordon Dash Levitt.
Imagine.
So he's also extraordinarily young. And yet less than 2 years younger than Heath Ledger in this movie. Make that make sense.
A wild fact, because Heath just looks like a man, and just
I've seen cross sections of like Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and like with their faces half and half, and they're almost identical. Like
Really?
the pictures I've seen, it's
No.
weird.
No,
yeah.
not at this time.
No,
Yeah,
it's like somebody did like an example of it, and I was like, whoa, that is uncanny.
Yeah, I was watching
weird.
interviews with old current Joseph Gordon-Levitt talking about this movie.
Old, he's 45.
And he was like, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to. He's like, I wanted to be a serious actor. I didn't want to be in teen rom-com crap. But it was it was like his breakthrough. Him and Heath and one of the actresses, I believe Julia Stiles. It was considered the three of their breakout roles. I don't know why the fourth actress it wasn't considered hers. I guess she can get bent, or maybe she was established before. I don't know. Also, Heath's voice very deep.
Very
Oh
deep.
my god!
Like it's
That
crazy
first
how
line.
like
That first line, we were like, huh.
I forgot
Yeah,
he was
Yes.
American.
okay, Heath.
I
was
think
like,
I
okay.
yelled
he's
hot
funny.
point as soon as he said the word.
yeah. Not old JGL though, because it's just very
He's
interesting
cute.
how
JGL?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm not saying all that name, dude.
Okay.
JGL
Noted.
forever. I'm gonna make it happen.
JGL.
JGL is what we call him forever.
30
No,
years into
he's-
his career.
It's just
Let's
funny
give him a
how like
nickname.
young and baby faced he seemed, and he was I think 19.
I think he's cute.
And then Heath Ledger, who's a year and a half older than him, looks like final version of Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
basically. And I think some of that
Final
is
form.
like Heath Ledger died at 28 or
Nothing
whatever.
to compare it to.
That's so young.
So we haven't gotten to
So
see
sad.
Heath in his 40s, whereas
And we never
Joseph
will.
Gordon-Levitt, or JGL as we all now call him, we've seen him in his 40s, and it's like, wow, you look like a swollen version of that kid. Mm-hmm. Strong name on that character, by the way.
Cameron. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Strong name.
interesting.
Last week we had
yeah.
Danielle.
Last week we had Danielle. This week we have
we have
Cameron.
Cameron.
Both
Yeah.
movies suck.
Is there a Nick or a
Okay.
Carl?
I'm trying to think if there's a Nick or
Carls
Carl
are
in
not-
the
That would be
next
amazing.
movies.
Very well portrayed in media.
Carl!
There's Aqua Teen Hunger Force Carl. Yeah,
We're
there's
watching
Jimmy
The
Neutron
Walking Dead.
Carl. Yeah, there's
Walking
not.
Dead
yeah,
Carl. Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of good Carls out
We need
there.
to make Carl great.
One
We
more
need a
thing.
great Carl.
One more thing before we
Yeah.
talk plot. It was interesting to me. So we watched this on Disney Plus, as did probably everybody.
Nope.
Okay.
Not everybody.
I rented on iTunes Movies.
You don't have Disney Plus?
No.
Good for you. JGL does not have top billing. Sorry. Yeah, he does. So he's not top billed on the movie posters and whatever. It's the cat actress, whatever her name is, and Heath Ledger.
Julia Stiles.
So it's Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger are on the poster, and yet the description under the Disney Plus version was about Cameron's storyline. Like it was his arc was the one
Is
that
in
was.
hindsight?
I don't know.
Well, he
but
puts
that's
everything into
just-
effect, really.
Yeah, because he's kind of he gets the ball rolling.
He's the catalyst. Yeah.
and then it's just not real. The movie's not really about him, but I want to talk about that
It's
more.
kind of about him. I thought the description was interesting because it's also just like real
what was the
Cameron
description?
and I's life. I'll read it for you.
Oh, you wrote it down. Thank
It
God.
says Cameron falls for the girl of his dreams, but she is forbidden to date. And that was us. That
Yeah.
was me. I was forbidden to date growing up. Like for my parents, dating equaled automatic sex and teen pregnancy. Like I
The
relate
dad in this movie was your dad.
was my dad.
Right.
Maybe dialed up a little bit, but like we didn't have any bellies hanging around the
Dialed
house.
up.
But
and he's not an OBG.
dialed up. But yeah, the whole no dating is me. Is my struggle.
And I just feel like that description writes a check that the movie doesn't quite cash because it's here's 5% of the plot, and then it's
Yeah.
actually about these two completely other characters. I don't know. I thought it was weird enough that I wrote it down. So the plot. Start with a horny principal that made everybody uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't get that character.
bratwurst.
You're throwing your hands in the
Yeah,
air for a
sorry.
reason.
Quite
Well,
the
at one
optimist.
point she purrs, and I just wanted to say I had a Bible teacher in middle school who would hiss. So again, I relate to this. This teacher,
Yeah.
when she would get mad, she would go with claw hands
Scoot.
and everything.
God,
In charge of kids.
In
with no
charge. This is who
supervision.
we're leaving in charge of our children.
was this
It's
the
a great-
first time you've seen this?
No, I've seen this several times. It's not one of my go-to rom-coms. To be fair, I wouldn't say it's in my top 5.
And yet here we are.
What do you mean? And yet here we are.
I'm just saying, here we are.
Here
But
we
it's
are.
Carl's fault. It's not your fault.
It is. It is a classic
It's a
rom-com.
self-inflicted wound. I read that it's more of a cult
Yeah.
kind of movie. Obviously, I've read it was financially successful
Yeah.
and it had a reboot, but I think it's coming into its own post-release. of people being like, "Oh, that was all right." Roger Ebert was basically like, "That was all right." I think he gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars.
I mean, for a rom-com, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah, and he was basically like,
2.5 out of 4.
that was his
For a
scale.
film critic?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, from Roger Ebert, like the most famous film critic, the late Roger Ebert that died of like most aggressive cancer possible.
He gave it a mid.
man.
He 2.5 out of 4 stars, and he was basically like Heath Ledger.
Oh, out of 4.
And he's like Heath Ledger murders this movie. Like he found that couple very engaging, and didn't mention the other couple at all because they're extremely forgettable.
And I don't think they're unforgettable. I don't think they're forgettable. I think they're just very unlikable.
Ooh, everybody's unlikable. This is a movie full of unlikable people.
Except for Heath Ledger and sometimes.
Yeah, but they're not good people.
No.
They're not good people.
Well, they're putting up a veneer.
She might be.
She's the most
real.
Once we learn 90 minutes in her whole spiel, once she's like, I had sex with that guy and I regretted it, and that's why I'm a bitch. And it's like, all right, so that's a way to excuse your behavior, I guess. And then Heath is like, everything about my character is a lie, and we're supposed to be like, cool movie.
Well, it's not everything. Well, people, it's rumors. It's not. He's not telling the lies. Everybody else
he moved
is
away
making
for
up.
a bit, and they're like, he must have been in jail.
And he's like Mr. Tough Guy, you know. So everybody makes up stories, and he's
smokes.
just like, I can't be bothered to clear this drivel.
Another movie with Disney Channel original energy.
Yeah.
Which drives me nuts. I hate it.
What?
I wasn't a Disney
I thought it
Channel.
was
I
kind
know.
of charming. There was some fun edits, and the music was nice, and
It was
I
good.
liked all
The
the
music was cool.
90s, 2000s tropes. It was fun. It reminded me a lot of Mean Girls, the way they kind of introduced the cliques.
Yep. It's a very high school movie trope where it's
Yeah.
like, this is the jock table, and this
But
is
it
the
knows what
whatever.
it's doing, though. It's having
Yeah.
fun with the genre. It's not like, I really liked
But
it.
why do I like Mean Girls and not
Yes,
this?
me and Carl. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Why do I like Mean Girls and this one didn't scan for me?
I think Mean Girls is a better
don't know.
story.
Mean Girls is more fantastical
Never
too.
seen it.
This
Well,
movie
yeah.
feels grounded-ish.
It's still kind of cartoony.
In a way that I
little
wish
bit.
one of my critiques is I wish it was a little more so, in a way that like a lot of
More cartoony or more grounded?
more cartoony, in a way that a lot of quote unquote adult, meaning non-high school rom-coms are.
Yeah.
Like nothing in The Proposal is believable, like at all.
Right, it's
That's
all
a
very
good
goofy.
movie. It's a bad movie, but I love it.
Yeah.
Plus, I get to look at Ryan Reynolds.
Okay,
and
so
Sandra
that's
Bullock for a
fair.
movie.
So there are rom-coms.
I want a little more ridiculous.
Okay.
In
see
Yeah,
you.
and in Mean Girls, she's kind of
Go ahead.
she's like the popular girl that's also, well, like, what was her name? Kat is kind of the outcast and the bully. And in Mean Girls, she's like the popular girl and the bully. So kind of like two sides of the same coin, kind
Yeah.
of.
You know what didn't make sense to me? Kat was a cheerleader.
Was she?
She played soccer.
She played.
Yeah, she wasn't a cheerleader.
Cheerleader.
That's why it didn't make sense. I
Oh
guess.
my God.
What?
He did it again.
She's in soccer cleats.
Whenever he's singing and dancing, she's not cheerleading.
She's in a soccer. She is in a very clearly not cheerleading.
They
unit.
talk about
no.
cheerleading at one point, right?
Well, there's probably cheerleaders on the field because
it's
there's
a high school.
football,
I'm sure
but
they're in
she's
there.
clearly not a cheerleader.
Oh, he Casablanca taking it again.
No.
He did it. Yeah.
I
Are you
I
confusing
did the opposite. I
archery?
saw something that wasn't there.
Oh,
This is Bizarro Casablanca. Acasabca. I tried to say Casablanca backwards and didn't land. I wanted to say something.
Yeah, move on.
oh
Two.
my God.
How I kind of flip side. So I don't know. This is like I like flip sides of the same coin, and then this movie landed right on the edge. So as much I would like more fantastic or more realistic, because The Big Sick is like the greatest, and it's autobiographical. So I don't know. This movie landed in a weird middle ground that I think is just a little lukewarm for me. But I don't think it's the movie's fault. That's a preferential thing. But I don't know. So we were talking about music a little bit ago. I have 2 music facts. Do you want to just jump to the music facts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Music
the
facts.
punk band, Kat's punk band, that she gets into is a real band called Letters to Cleo, and in
Like Kat's
Parks and Rec season 4, on an episode titled "The Comeback Kid," in the scene where Ben Wyatt, recently fired, is doing his stop motion claymation, he is wearing a Letters to Cleo t-shirt.
What? Whoa.
that is this band.
That's a deep fact.
That's
Are
a
they-
deep fact. I had to go through 3 Wikipedia articles to find that.
Dang.
Are they also the band that sings the song that was playing during the credits?
Yes.
'Cause I recognize that one.
I
as well.
want. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cover.
I want
They're
that.
covering.
Oh, okay.
They're covering a song. Now the prom band, the prom dance band, the ska band that plays at the prom, awesomely 90s by the way. Ska's just the best. Also a real band called Save Ferris, which is a Ferris Bueller's Day Off reference. Which is pretty cool. They've had 30 members, which is a lot.
Holy crap.
That's all.
That's
I know.
a lot of
That's all I
members.
know about that band. But they have
That
30
band
members.
does not.
That's
it
like
apparently.
the. That's like if the.
Thought experiment with the ship.
Yeah, if you take a board at a time away from a
Yeah,
ship
if you-
and rebuild it
Still
all,
the
is it
same
the same
band?
ship?
Yeah, that's. I think they've had the same vocalist throughout, and both bands like broke up and
So-
revived like 3
So
times.
they're the problem then. The vocalist is the one pushing everybody away.
lead singer syndrome, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Danielle, can you loosely go over the plot for us? Because I can't remember. So
like the whole plot, or just like.
Well, so we start with the school and a bunch of crap that doesn't matter. But the general gist of the movie is that there's this one sister who's not allowed to date.
Well, so neither of them are allowed to date.
Right.
So, but then kind of as like a haha, I gotcha. The dad decides that the younger sister who wants to date, she can date when her older sister,
Who's
who
not
hates
interested.
everybody,
That's Kat.
when she dates.
And so then Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who likes the younger sister,
Yes.
the one who wants to date, he's like, I got to get a date for this older sister so that I can go out with the younger one and take her to prom. And then there's this whole
Fall in love.
C story with this dude that just wants to get laid or something.
Well, yeah, he's
The-
just
the
popular schmooze
Yeah,
boy.
the part of the
Yeah,
movie that you
hate
could,
that guy.
The part of the
He's the
movie you could
worst.
scoop out and it's the same movie.
Yep.
Yeah. So they hire Heath Ledger's character, who has a name, I'm sure.
Patrick,
Patrick.
Verona.
Shakespeare
My
reference.
I figured the
Shakespeare
names
movie.
were references, but I don't know enough about
Well,
Shakespeare.
and from the Shakespeare play, Bianca and Katerina are the names of the sisters in the play. So
What play is this?
What
Taming
what
of
does
the
Cameron
Shrew.
say in the beginning? It's like I pine, I perish. I was like, that's
plead, I
got to be a
perish.
Shakespearean
Yeah, it
reference. Okay.
Oh, so this is all Shakespeare's stuff.
Yeah, it's a take on Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, well, I like knowing
Because they
that.
even say that eventually. They call what's her
her
name?
a
Cat a
shrew.
shrew. Okay.
Yeah.
What is a shrew? I thought it was like a
It's a
mole or
little
like an
mousy
animal.
thing, yeah, with a long nose that sniffs around.
That needs
pretty cute.
taming.
I don't know.
They seem
I
pretty
haven't read
docile.
the Shakespearean play, so I have
Hmm.
no idea.
So that's kind of
You wouldn't think it would need to.
that kind of sets up the drama.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, that
we've got a
sets up the
sister that
drama.
doesn't want to date, and we've got a bad boy to hire to try to get her to like him, so that they can date. So that the younger kid.
But of course, he falls for her, of course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she finds out it was all a ruse.
Very tropey stuff.
Yes, yes.
Which I feel like knowing that it's a Shakespeare thing kind of turns my burner down on the trope hatred.
Ooh.
Because it makes it, instead of tropey,
Yeah.
it makes it derivative,
Yeah.
which is a different insult, but everything's derivative to be fair. So
Crap, you're right. That's kind of like me last week with Ever After. I didn't get the Cinderella stuff,
Yeah.
but it was a
And kind of
reference
like
too,
Ever
so I didn't
After, they
hate it.
do, reinvent it a little bit.
I
Like they're
also-
taking a story and making it modern and or changing it up. Yeah.
I also have never
Sorry, Nick, what were you saying?
really read anything Shakespeare, so I don't know.
I
the
hated
references here.
it.
you have to like,
Ugh.
there's what we learned. We toured the Globe Theater, which is Shakespeare's theater.
That
in-
was
in
great.
London, and it was unbelievable. It's not the original; it's a reproduction because the original burned down in one of the many London fires.
Classic London.
And it gave us a lot of historical context as to why Shakespeare's quote unquote boring. And it's largely like, yes, it's written as a play, but spectators to plays were completely different. So the way that like audiences weren't sitting quiet, basically. So a lot of Shakespeare is a dude stepping forward and monologuing, and the crowd is like giving him
Reacting.
the business. Like, so there's a forward and back with the audience who were poor people who were pissing where they stood and getting drunk. And if they didn't like what you were saying, they would just throw urine and feces at you. And the Globe was in a
Lovely.
very poor part of London where they did a lot of clothes washing, meaning with urine. That's what they used. Urine
Gross.
is sterile, so they used it as a cleaning agent.
Oh,
So, it's just the poorest of the poor and the bluest of blue collars and the stinkiest of the stinky enjoying a theater. But because they're a rowdy, drunk bunch, there's like a back and forth that we miss when we're in school reading. To be or not to be, that is the question. It's just like, and the whole stepping forward thing. Shakespeare doesn't really land unless, first of all, you go see a production live. And then second of all, that won't even land the same because audiences were significantly different. So there's a tangent. Damn it.
We don't do that, Cameron.
Harmontown? Because that sounds really familiar.
I don't know if they talk about that on Harmontown.
It's
Okay,
a relevant
I heard it somewhere. Yeah.
But no, that's what we learned at the Globe. So that's why people don't like Shakespeare. I want to say I wrote this down. I found the Cameron and Bianca storyline to be very forgettable. They're definitely in the narrative backseat of the 1990s two-door Honda Civic hatchback that is this movie. And I wanted to see if that was a shared sentiment because they kind of are used as like they set up the plot and then the movie just goes pew and flicks them off the script for.
Well, I felt that way too, but it's because she's in on it. Like Cameron and the younger sister are in on it together.
Right.
So,
well, of course.
So
there's not a lot to flesh out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they nailed it.
I mean, it's just more entertaining to watch Kat, who's not in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
slowly fall in love with.
And that's a good point because they do set up the story and then we leave them because to those two's like looking through theirs, they nailed it. They're like,
well, she's also
date or
into
whatever.
Joey though. She's not into Cameron at first. At first,
That's
she's
true.
like just
she's
kind of
into-
using him.
She's into Joey until she learns that Joey is only in it because he made a bet that he could sleep with her or something.
Yeah, and he's boring and all into his looks.
He's
She's
only,
like, "Ugh."
Joey's only into himself.
Yeah.
So then she, like, literally, she
But
comes
she's doing
back.
the same thing to her sister. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're bad people. There's no good people in this movie. But yeah, they bring these two characters back just to have her punch Joey in the face,
Which was great.
which is
Yeah.
good, but like, I don't know. It
Not
didn't-
just once either.
it doesn't
Kick them eyes
3
down.
times.
doesn't hit in the same way that like Mark Wahlberg at the end of The Departed hits.
Yeah.
Like that's a good closing one too. I don't know.
So she should have killed him.
She should have killed him, and then a rat should have ran across the screen
Yeah.
Across the gym
because
floor.
Scorsese knows nothing of subtlety. He just hits you in the face with the hammer. That is. Here's what I was going for. Bong.
Yeah. There's a time and
Scorsese
place for
can-
subtlety, and that time was before a scary movie.
Scorsese can firmly suck
Have you
it.
heard Scorsese talk about email?
About email?
Yeah.
Like electronic mail?
I just don't get it. There's CC and there's so many. Who are these people? Like,
What an old fud.
it scares me.
Oh boy.
Heath Ledger. This is my least favorite Heath Ledger movie of the 3 that I've now seen.
That scans. Because I mean,
Dark
well,
Knight
one's
and what's
the
freaking The
third?
Dark
Knight's Tale?
Knight.
My number 1 is A Knight's Tale. It's my favorite Heath Ledger movie.
Whoa.
That movie's in,
A
right?
Knight's Tale's really
right?
good.
I almost watched that today. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Paul
I didn't have enough
Bellamy
time to
is
think before the movie
incredible
ever-
in it. Dude. He did that movie, I think I said the year after.
Yeah,
this
it was
one.
after
Like,
this
it was like, he did 10 Things I Hate About You, got recognition, and then got A Knight's Tale, which is really cool. So, no, it's fantastic. We should watch for the show. So save it.
Definitely.
We'll
Yeah.
find a
Okay.
we'll find a month or something. Maybe we'll do that in March while it's fresh on the brain. We'll
Heath
just
Ledger
shoehorn
month.
that
Yeah.
in. Yeah, no. Knight's Tale is my favorite, followed by Dark Knight, which I maintain is a Joker movie. It is not a Batman movie. And third would be this, just because I've seen it. But no,
I've
I
also
kept-
only seen 3 Heath Ledger movies.
So I had a hard time with. It took me years and years and years. So first, I'd only seen The Dark Knight. That was the first Ledger movie I'd seen. I saw Knight's Tale a couple years afterwards. Thanks to shout out to Brandon Fredericks for showing me both of these movies, both Dark Knight and Knight's Tale. I had a really hard time seeing Heath Ledger's face in the Joker because of the Chelsea grin scars and the makeup and stuff. I couldn't, and the voice, like he does a really interesting voice as an Australian.
You saw that in.
What I can see, so I have a hard time seeing Heath in the Joker, but every time Heath smiled in this movie, I was like, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
Every time.
There's that smile.
He really
It's
changed
a-
his voice a lot.
It's a
as soon as he started
massive
talking in
smile.
this one, I was like, "Whoa, he does not sound like Joker at all."
Well, and that's how he sounds in A
That's
Knight's Tale.
crazy.
In A Knight's Tale, he
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
Britishes it up a little bit in
Yeah,
A Knight's
I
Tale
think he
because he's
does.
supposed to be. It's
I didn't really even
Nice.
notice the accent at first until later, and I was like, oh, and I was like, does he have an accent now? And I was like, oh, he had it in the beginning. It was just
Wait,
subtle.
you
Like,
didn't notice his accent?
No,
in the
like
very beginning, it was very subtle in the first little interaction.
It
I
was
thought he was just
subtle.
kind of talking
As
low.
soon- I'm
and
sorry,
Then it
as
gets
soon
dialed
as
up
he-
later.
I don't think it's subtle.
As
No.
soon as he spoke a line, it was like deep voice.
Yeah.
I can't do an
no,
Australian accent.
he
for
started
that.
No,
talking. And I went, wait, and it took like
It
a
sounded
couple
different,
minutes of
but
listening to him
It
talk.
sounded
Like,
dialed up
oh
later.
yeah,
Interesting, because I heard it and I was like, Aussie, 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 oi, 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 straight away.
Oi, oi, oi. Well, she calls him Kangaroo Boy, and that should have clued me in immediately.
It is funny that his like backstory for being born in Australia is like not dissimilar from his actual backstory.
Well, he has an
forget what he
Australian
said.
accent, so it has to. He has to be from Australia. I guess they were worried about it in the movie, and they almost made him like
Yeah.
not have one, which
It's very interesting.
sad.
Yeah.
Give me an accent. I love it. Well, give me a British Australian accent. Don't
did
give
it
me.
make the movie better?
made him
I
hotter.
think so.
I wonder
I
if they
think so.
wrote the backstory because he has an accent.
It made him
had to
seem
explain
more
it.
mysterious, more
Yeah.
like it adds an air to him.
Exotic.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of quotes or moments written down for this movie.
I have one quote.
I have one moment, and it's just this. It just made me laugh in an eye roll kind of way. Where what's the friend of Cameron's that is kind of a
Michael?
Michael.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, because it's Cameron and Michael, and that's my first and middle name. Should have remembered that.
Wow.
He's on his scooter when they're all leaving school, and he goes, "Stay cool, bro," and then like drives right into a car and crashes off a cliff. I thought that was kind of funny. And also, I noticed something in the background of one of the establishing high school scenes where they're outdoors. This is after Principal Horny, and this is the scene where Cameron sees what's her face. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta get with her," and he's talking to Michael and stuff. In the background, there's just cowboys eating beans right from the can.
It's literally like can of beans.
And
Like
I wrote down, "Is this the high school experience I missed? Horny principals and bean boys."
Bean
Oh my
Boys.
God.
What did Michael say? Like the closest thing they get to cowboys is McDonald's or something, like or cows is McDonald's. That guy
Get it,
Michael
McDonald's?
was one of the coke heads in Superbad.
oh,
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't watch.
So I guess he didn't go to his Ivy League school.
Well, I know
watch the
him.
movie?
I know him from the Santa Claus, and I feel like he hasn't done
The
a lot.
Santa
I
Claus.
feel like he hasn't done a lot else. So good
he
for
has
him.
Nick Miller vibes. The way
Yeah,
he talks.
yeah, I
it
hear it,
sounds
yeah.
kind of like Nick
Alright.
Miller. He's got
Yeah,
that
no, I
kind
see
of,
it.
and a little bit in the face too.
So do we?
I thought he reminded me of Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah,
He was also in
Yeah.
Superbad.
I like that one.
Also in
He wasn't
Superbad.
super bad. What did you
Yeah.
have written down?
I have a quote from the beginning of the movie from a character that is pointless. It's Bianca and her friend Chastity, which I didn't even know that was her name until I looked it up. And Chastity goes, "I know you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed?"
That answer.
What do
and
we
then
think?
Bianca goes, "I think you can in Europe."
What does that
What?
mean?
So being
But
mean?
can we be whelmed?
you can
Thoughts?
you can be whelmed,
Yeah,
but being whelmed isn't generally used as like in the same context as over or underwhelmed is. It is like when like
is whelmed what I am at this movie.
Does it just mean to be present? I mean, like, yeah,
No,
it's like, how
it's-
I was there
does
for
the-
it.
I think I read it
Yeah.
read it in context of like water. So like, oh, the water whelmed me. So like you're just in it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have the same kind of
Meaning?
context that over underwhelmed being like metaphorical in a
that's
sense. It's
stupid.
like a physical. Well, it's not a thing we use, and maybe it is in British English, and that was-
Apparently
that's
it
the
is in
Europe
Europe.
thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I figured it was like a Shakespearean term, and I was like, maybe that was like the European origin, but I was like, I don't know for sure.
I had something else. Oh, the scene where he sings whatever. What's the song? Can't keep my eyes off you. or something?
Can't take my eyes off you
Take
by
My Eyes Off You.
Frankie Valli or whatever.
Yeah.
No, so we get embarrassed, right? Because so they go to a party. She gets drunk. He takes care of her. He makes
won't kiss
sure
her.
he doesn't kiss her, like because she's drunk. And
How respectful.
she vomited and doesn't have a
Oh, that's why he
toothbrush.
Kissy.
You
It's
know,
Very Evan from Superbad.
so
Yeah.
we
I'm just bringing
understand.
it up to make David mad.
Yeah.
But this leads her to be embarrassed, of course.
Mm.
So in order to get back into her good graces, he has to thus embarrass himself. So I have a fun fact about
Yeah.
the band that plays the song, actual high school band.
Huh.
Not from the high school they filmed at, but like one another one in the same town. They were like, high schoolers, come
Because
film
they
this.
sounded not quite, but pretty good.
Yeah.
A little pitchy.
Just like they would in real life. So yeah, he sings, dances on the bleachers, can't take my eyes off
Heath is
of
actually
you.
singing.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
he was
Wow.
nominated for an MTV award for Best Musical Performance.
That's awesome.
Carl, how did the bleacher scene live up to your...
Is
It
that
was
why
everything I
you...
wanted it to be.
Isn't that why you
I
wanted to...
knew that was like an iconic moment, and then I knew like the end when she does her like list was like another iconic moment. So I was like, I know this is like a big movie, or at least it's like in the zeitgeist for those scenes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see it and like know what I was missing out on. So yeah, here we are. And I'm sorry I brought you guys through this.
I didn't get or like what's with the cops or security in that scene? I didn't get it.
Just to make it funny. I don't know.
All right.
He broke into the AV room. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
glad
to
you
get
brought
back.
it
Yeah,
up.
of all the stuff that he's done, like smoking in class, stabbing things with a knife, and that's what the cops come out for is when he's doing
Yeah.
a musical
I don't like
performance.
it.
It's like, come on.
Were the
choose your battles.
knobs were the knobs on the soundboard sideways, or was that just the way it
I
was?
have no idea.
Because like our soundboard here, you got a knob. It runs this way, and you push it up and down.
Yeah.
But their knobs were twisted, but still going this way. It really bothered me.
You noticed that, but you thought she was a cheerleader?
Shut up. Whatever, man.
The stuff you focus on is so.
That was-
I wanna
that
figure
was
out
actually-
the trend.
wait.
Why? Like you
Wait,
noticed this was
the soundboard
weirdest
scene.
things, man.
The soundboard scene was right before I mistook her for a cheerleader.
Insane.
So
You must
was
have just been
distracted.
confirmed. I was
Yeah.
He's like, what
I
about
was trying
the
to figure it
knobs?
out.
Knobgate.
Yeah. She's a cheerleader, but what about the knobs?
Knobgate.
I
It's on the
think...
field. Yeah. Women can only be cheerleaders. They can't play sports.
Wow, Nick. Wow. How could you think that? I think the most unbelievable part of this movie is, so he goes to detention, right, for his performance.
This is the most unbelievable.
And in
yeah.
order to get him out of detention, Kat goes and flashes the teacher, and there are no repercussions.
The teacher that she previously shot with an arrow.
No, that was the other sister.
Oh, that was the other. The other sister
still.
shot
That
was the same guy, though?
The same guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why when he leans on the desk, he's like, ah.
yeah, because he's been shot in the ass with an arrow. That's great.
But like, that's her soccer coach. She just flashed her teacher, her soccer coach. Just nothing bad happens.
And then she's like, "Let's go play paintball." And then they don't even play paintball. They throw paint balloons. It's stupid.
Paint balloons.
You can't.
Well, first they do a paddle
Balloons.
boat, which paddle boats are not cute and romantic. They're terrible.
We did a paddle boat.
Wait.
Yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It sounds
so-
exhausting.
no.
Yeah, you have to paddle so much
It's
to move
horseshit.
at all.
And here it's like it was on a shitty Florida lake that was all mosquito-y. It's terrible. But your parents, I got points with your parents for some reason for taking you out on the paddle boat.
Because you were doing
They
things.
were like,
and
"Oh, he's really
participating.
doing it." And I was like, "I'm doing it."
Doing
He's
it.
wooing her.
Just wait until we're married, and then I won't do anything
Well,
ever.
listen, the guy before you would do nothing, wouldn't have even come to the event. So the fact that you were even there was major points. So
Yeah, I nailed it.
you nailed it. Thanks, babe.
Never paddle boated again.
Here we are.
Now I don't leave the house. I'm like, sure, go to New York. I'm staying here.
Hell yeah.
Actual thing that's happening. I
Wow.
think that this movie loses me for two reasons. And I wrote them down because I wanted to articulate and not just go, movie sucks. One, I had zero high school experience to relate to this movie with.
Yeah.
That's been discussed many times, and it will continue to get discussed as we watch more movies in high schools. And I'm just like, I don't get it.
It's got to be all the rom-coms, right?
And two,
No, actually.
I hated being a teenager. I was very cringy until I was probably 25. Stand by that. And I get secondhand embarrassment from teen angst on the silver screen.
You hate it.
I really viscerally dislike it.
Like we
Because
watched.
it makes me very palpably uncomfortable to watch like people be awkward on screen. Because it's like I project myself. Like, you know when you like say something stupid and then you lay in bed awake until 3 a.m.
All the
going,
time.
what an idiot.
I'm familiar.
I do that all
Yeah.
the time. And I like that's that feeling I get when I watch
Interesting.
like especially teenage set films. I really don't like them. And this movie loses me just based on the setting. And again, it's not a I can't knock
not
the
the
film
movies
for
at
that.
all.
That's a self-own. Let's see. I wrote down, I do think Heath is great in this movie. Him and Kat are the bright spots, despite the kind of tropey two unlikable characters find it in themselves and like each other just to come around right before the credits roll. but what can you do?
Yeah.
I already talked about the Cameron and Bianca storyline being forgettable.
I thought that the pacing of the last third of the movie sucked. Just because they already did everything they were going to do. Like, they started falling in love,
Sure.
and you're like, okay, now I just have to wait until she finds out that he did it for money.
Yeah.
So I thought the beginning was slow. And also I kind of felt
And also
like
the middle.
yeah. No,
I thought the pacing was actually pretty good for most of it. Like, I didn't really feel like it was
what I didn't
slow.
feel that I think I might have been interpreting as slowness when I was watching it was any real sense of either risk or
I mean, there's no
reward
stakes.
or
Yeah.
Because
there
it's-
was no stakes. And
But it's not a movie that's supposed to have stakes.
but once again,
Do
why
rom-coms
does
have stakes generally? Like, palpable
I mean, the
stake? Yeah,
biggest stake
it's-
is, are they going to get together or not?
Yeah.
And it's a rom-com, so, you know, they're probably
Yeah,
going to
there's-
get together.
but why does
So-
but
pretty high
again
likelihood.
Yeah.
Mean Girls doesn't have stakes and it feels better. Like the drama is heavier.
The drama is more.
And I think it's because it's more of a parody. So
Now,
it can
that's set in
swing.
high school, and that one doesn't
Well,
bother
Tina
you?
Fey is
No, parts of
one
that movie really
a
bother
legend.
Really?
me. Yeah, parts of that
Wait, which
movie
parts?
really bother me. Basically the whole third act. So
bus?
the putting the list all over the school and then the anybody personally affected by Regina George, like all that shit just makes my skin
I
crawl.
wish we could all make a cake and eat it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, ah.
Happy.
Napoleon
go to
Dynamite also
school?
hurts me because it's just
Well, that
too
movie's
awkward
very,
beats,
like,
gosh
yeah.
and whatever. Like, I don't
It's a
really.
weird movie.
But then again, you make dumb movies. We were talking about this before the show. Napoleon Dynamite, I think I have fatigue over, but also there's awkward stuff in that movie that's just hard. Like all of the LaFonda stuff
Oh my
and the
God.
dance scenes and all that stuff. Like just that just
Yeah.
makes my
Anything
spine,
Uncle Rico ever
yeah,
says.
that makes my spine hurt.
He
But then-
transforms so fast.
but then you do like the spiritual cousin to that movie is Benchwarmers, and that movie's hilarious. I have no qualms about that film. I think it's great.
But just as cringe.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting.
I think but it's not a high school setting. It's baseball, baby.
Yeah, sure.
That it's just because it's baseball.
Maybe it's because of the relationship is what makes it uncomfortable. Because
also
cringe in
s-
relationship is different than like cringe in baseball.
Yeah, and
True.
I feel like Benchwarmers is a significantly stupider movie. That movie's really dumb.
Stupider than Napoleon Dynamite?
The Napoleon Dynamite doesn't have like porta potty vomiting and mud wrestling and I am 12 and how's the moon treating you? Not a fan. That movie's really stupid. Oh, like the dance scene in Napoleon Dynamite. Ugh.
I haven't seen
I
Napoleon
love
Dynamite.
that
a lot.
scene.
That's good.
The talent show.
When he just now the
He
best
changed
part.
everyone's minds.
The best
No, it
part.
wasn't a talent show.
What was it?
The end of
He
Napoleon Dynamite.
he was
It's the vote for Rico thing, right?
vote
It's
for
the-
Pedro.
Pedro, sorry,
God.
Rico.
Oh,
I
right.
conflated
You
the two.
guys.
Uncle Rico.
Rico.
I haven't
not
seen Napoleon
Rico.
Dynamite in a long time.
Me either.
Pedro was running for class president, and they had to do a skit, and he didn't know. So Napoleon just
But
had
it was
this.
like a talent segment though, or something.
I guess it was a talent, but it
Yeah.
was supposed to be for the candidate.
But the best
Yeah.
is when he runs off the stage and you can hear his shoes squeak to dead silence. He's got the leg warmers on. It's really good. It's a good movie. We went on another tangent.
Another Napoleon Dynamite tangent.
He said it was good.
No, Napoleon Dynamite's good, but it hurts me.
Okay, that's fair.
There's lots of scenes that hurt
It's
me.
a good pain. Yeah.
I think something else for 10 Things I Hate About You that adds charm to it for me is that everybody looks like a normal person. Like, everybody has
Yeah.
their, like, regular hair, like, they're in normal clothes. Like, people in movies now are just so perfect and airbrushed, and it's just not...
Yeah.
It's not as nice.
Compare
you
this to
know?
like Euphoria, which is like so ridiculous.
Well,
like
So
no one's
ridiculous.
going to school like that. I mean, maybe they
No.
are. I haven't been to school in 20 years,
I
so
don't
who
think
knows?
they are.
I watched a YouTube video from a film major. And he was saying that a lot of that, similar to along those lines, is like movies look in general just too clean because we're so 4K HD, so
Was this about the
perfect.
digital cameras and all that?
This was about digital versus film.
I think I've seen that video.
And it was
like 3
really
days
good.
ago.
And it ended
Yeah.
up being it's the dude going, why does digital look worse than film? And then he spends 10 minutes of this 20-minute video basically gently explaining to you that it doesn't, and that there are film movies that look digital and there are digital movies that look like film. But the real issue is that movies right now, and in a post, I don't know if he exactly said a post Marvel world, but Marvel is a huge proponent of this. Everything is very shiny, very clean, very perfect. Everything's very bright. It's very
Too well lit.
Shifted to cool colors, not blocking any frames. And his examples, he had 2 examples of modern films that nail it and look really good despite being digital. Dune and The Batman.
Yeah.
And the Batman is really dark. There's lots of scenes where there's like shit in the foreground that obscures your view. And it makes you feel like you are like a lot of like first person, like I'm one of the guys walking into this apartment.
Way
kind of
more
scenes.
immersive.
And it's very immersive. And that way he put Vaseline or something on the lens to make the raindrops stick to it, to make you feel like that seems like that would be a
lenses.
It makes it feel like you feel like that would be a fourth wall break, but it actually cements the scene in kind of a Blade Runner-y kind of way. And Dune's Dune's very beige. It's very orange. It's very dirty. You kind of feel in it, boots on the ground in Dune. And Marvel's very blue hued, very clean, very, even when you've got a scarred up guy, you could see every pore on his face as he snaps and dies and turns into dust or whatever.
They're like visually perfect, and that's like almost its own kind of uncanny.
Right. And he also pointed out that you don't see that in indie films. Because indie filmmakers are making films that they want. Like you're seeing an indie filmmaker's vision. And in a studio production, you are seeing the most highly polished, perfect to a fault version of something. And I think that extends to costuming. It extends to editing. It extends to sound design. It definitely extends to the cinematography and to the hair and makeup, to your point, in this film. So
I don't know. I just like looking at someone who looks, like me.
Like a person.
They're celebrities
And they look like
now.
high schoolers too.
Yeah. Well,
even though they were
21.
21.
Julia Stiles, I think, was 17, but
Neither of the two men were.
both of the men were
I think
older.
Joseph
The only
Gordon-Levitt was
person
19.
that bothered me, like not feeling like he was a high schooler, was the guy that gets the dick drawn on his face.
Michael,
yeah.
That does like he felt like he was.
I feel
30.
like that was the way he dressed though was a little
Dressed
bit more.
and acted.
Yeah.
He had a
Yeah.
little too much of the George Costanza about him to feel like a high schooler.
Yeah.
He's Georgish. You know?
Yeah.
The way he sits down at the cool kid table to try to get the pitch where they're drawing the
That's
dick
just
on
like-
him,
yeah.
that's very George Costanza feeling to me. Where he just goes in with unabashed and undeserved confidence and then comes back and goes, "It didn't work, Jerry." Like,
Yeah. What do you mean?
I have a dick on my face. Don't worry.
Even though, like, him going back, and then, like, I have a dick on my face, don't I?
Yeah.
Like, even that is, like, super tropey, like, oh, well,
and then you could just see Jerry.
bag.
You could
Finger
just
on
see
me.
Jerry's. Yeah.
It looks like you do. Yeah.
You got a
But-
phallus on your face.
he has
Face
this-
phallus.
Face
Face phallus.
but he gets the girl in the end, too. He gets his little William
Yeah.
Shakespeare loving.
I liked that was maybe my favorite pairing. It's
It was
just them
great.
because it was kind of
know.
it just happened. Yeah, he gave her the dress in the locker or something. Yeah.
And Kat and what's his face get together, and then she goes to college. She's
We
like,
just-
bye.
Listen, we just ignore that part.
Maybe he goes.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes with her. What's
There's
he
no
got?
way.
What's he got
Didn't
holding
get
him?
accepted.
Probably his
He barely
What
goes to
happened to
GPA.
the show?
Well, maybe he's just gonna go work in wherever Sarah Lawrence is. I don't even know.
Well, they're in
Was that-
Washington State, I think.
It was on the other side
Yeah,
of the
but
It
Sarah
was on
country.
the
Lawrence
other
was
side because she
East
wanted to go to an
Coast.
East Coast college.
So I don't know where
Which
on the
that
East
kind of
Coast
broke
it
my
is.
brain as an East Coaster, being like, no, you want to be over there.
Do you though?
You want to be in the cool part where
Probably.
it almost burns down and slides into the ocean.
There's a lot of like natural disasters that happen over there. I'm good.
Yeah, but
True.
they have mountains,
That's true. They have mountains.
snow.
And
But I don't want to have to drive on
We
the
have
mountains
mountains.
all the time.
I guess you can have mountains and snow in
we have
the East
Appalachia.
Coast, but it's different.
It's
It's
different.
way different.
But I still don't wanna live on them.
Appalachia, if we're honest.
I haven't spent a lot of time out west.
I haven't spent a lot of time out west, but when you look at a mountain out west, you can at no part go, I could climb that. And in Appalachia, you can climb that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably groovy, and you can go get a cheeseburger 15
Or you
minutes
can
away.
even drive to the top.
Yeah,
you don't
right.
have to climb it.
And then, like in Grand Teton, where we were, it was like, oh yeah, there's up on that glacier, there's a plane crash that we never got down. because it's too
It's
dangerous.
just there.
It's there forever. Because that's
Jeez.
how aggressive mountains out there are. How long have we been going? 45 minutes.
90s prom hair though, not good.
No.
Tragic.
No.
Just
No.
the slick back, just
With
bleh.
a poof.
With the poof. No,
It's like
it ain't it.
we hot glued our bangs to our
Yeah.
foreheads.
Yo,
but we permed the back.
Yo.
It's not good.
the
Yo, the hair. Check
the
this.
actor guy, the like.
The actor guy.
Yeah, I know that was a stupid way to describe
like
a character.
75 actor
Movie.
guys.
Yeah.
The actor who was playing an actor, the
Joey.
Joey.
the punchman.
Joey.
What he showed up to at the house wearing for the prom, he had like on a black tux. It looked fine, but then a white jacket over top. It looked ridiculous.
Oh, but white jackets are. I mean, you and I made a website once full of white
we
white
did
jackets.
make a website full of white jackets.
white, blue, green, red, all the pink.
That website doesn't exist anymore, so there you go.
None of the websites I have ever worked on exist.
Rip.
My web design portfolio is fake. I could make it all
You
up.
made a good looking fork once though.
I made a really good
Spoon?
fork, yeah. Spork even. That was a fork. I still have the files. I made a fork that scrolled when you moved on the page. It was super cool.
Ooh.
That site
Developer.
doesn't exist anymore. I'm a dev. Nah,
Well,
my
should
brain works too well to be a dev.
Should we do hot points?
Let's do
I
hot
just have
point.
one more thing.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
This poem at the end.
Oh, yeah. Let's
we
talk
haven't
about
really
this
talked
first.
about the end.
Actually,
Let's
is
talk
worth
about
talking about.
the ending first, and then we'll move into our extracurriculars. So the ending, she is given a Shakespeare assignment by the biggest dick teacher ever. It was like,
I
Yeah.
liked it. He was funny.
he sucks.
He was
I
just
thought he was
over
funny.
over
yeah,
her.
I don't know. He had a
He's
personal
over
vendetta.
high
Teenagers
schoolers.
bullshit, yeah.
I don't
He
get paid
kicks. I mean,
enough.
every scene he like kicks her out of the class, even when she's like, "Oh, that assignment sounds rad," because she's very educated and very, very like second wave feminist or whatever the '90s was. I think that was second wave. I don't know anything.
I don't know.
And she's like, "Oh, I dig this one," and he's like, "Get out of my class." So the assignment was to like write a
Rewrite.
poem.
Yeah, they had to rewrite a
Shakespeare
Shakespeare poem.
thing because this is Shakespeare, so duh. And she writes the poem, and that's where the shoe drops. Oh, that's what the movie's about. The poem's called 10 Things I Hate About You. And he's in the classroom, which I didn't think it was established that they were in the same class.
I think he just skips class a lot.
Showed up one
Yeah,
time
he's a
and
bad
just
boy.
left. Yeah.
So he shows up, and then she reads the poem at him, and then we're like, oh, he really did it this time. And then she gets to her car, and there's the shitty $130 guitar she was playing in the music store. And by playing, I mean not playing at all.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
I would know. And I was like, that's a
Yeah.
person who's touched a guitar
That's the
only
first
for
time.
this movie.
You're watching the first time.
And then that's all the reconciliation we need, apparently,
yeah.
is, you know,
Yeah, that
what-
was like my only problem with it is like I don't think that seems like a quick turn face for her to like
hey, let me tell you what.
be upset and then be like, oh, this guitar fixes everything.
It
But
does.
I was like,
I can, from firsthand experience, tell you that when she threw her wedding ring into the Target parking lot and lost it, I bought her another ring. And then I took that exact same amount of money and bought myself a guitar and said, "You're buying me this," and it did make it all better.
all
So
right,
there you
well,
go.
The guitar was
Evidence.
the guitar was actually more expensive
Yeah.
by
But it's okay.
about 40%, but it's okay because I deserved it.
It's fair. But no, this
so no one knows if like the
No, go ahead.
I was just like
Your
the
turn.
actual Shakespearean like story. Do they stay together? Because it felt like they
I-
pulled the punch in the same
Was
way,
it-
like in West Side Story, they should have like had the other girl kill herself.
Yeah,
it felt like they pulled the
I
punch.
stand by that. No, I don't
So
know.
like if to me
Wait,
it was
so-
like, oh, they
but-
should.
What do you mean?
he's
like
saying
pull the punch?
he's saying they reconciled too fast, right?
Yeah, it
That's
seemed
your
like a
point.
really quick turnaround. Like I guess in her poem she admits she still loves him or whatever. She's like, I hate it when you're not. But it seemed like
The fact that
she
you
wouldn't
didn't
want to go back to him or like shoot. And especially
Well,
if she goes
what-
to college right after, it's like, well, why even put them back together if they're just going to leave again? So
Well, what I
it seemed
think
kind
that
of weird.
was he's actually did pay attention to genuinely paid attention to things I like enough to act on it outside of this whole scheme. I think So I mean, women are
It just
crazy.
seemed
dude.
really
No, I'm just
quick.
kidding.
Like it seemed like they needed to
Women
be
are
like
so
another
dumb.
scene or something in between that. It was like it seemed really fast, but that was like my only real.
Well, of course
complaint.
it's
It was
fast.
just-
They went, how do we
yeah.
end this movie?
yeah. But they could add another 10 minutes and made it seem a little bit
No,
more grounded.
I
or
love-
I don't
something.
want any more
I
minutes.
Love that this movie
was-
was under an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
but I was already
Yeah.
checking my phone in Act 3. Like, I kept having to
Oh,
close
really?
Instagram. But yeah, dude, I just
See,
did
I didn't
not-
do that for this one. I did a lot in Ever After, but in this one, the pacing didn't bother me. I was like kind of enjoying the whole thing. It was funny in a lot of parts, and it was kind of like it seemed like a
I don't
parody. Like it
know.
reminded me of Shrek for some reason. And
What?
maybe it was
What?
just because they played a lot of the music from Shrek.
Okay.
Like when they introduced Cat, it was that same song. But
Yeah.
it just felt like it was aware of like the parody. Like it was aware of like the tropes and kind of like made parodies of them a little bit, and it was kind of like leaning into it and having fun with it. And
Yeah.
that's
Is-
kind of
Like,
what Shrek
it's
was
not
doing.
trying to be a serious movie.
Is Shrek a
Yeah.
rom-com?
Kind of.
Can we make that one of the movies? Just add it to the bucket.
Then yes.
Ah.
I'd love to rewatch Shrek.
Just want to listen to All-Star by Smash Mouth. R.I.P. Smash Mouth guy.
What were you gonna say
Yeah.
about this poem?
Oh yeah.
This movie was fine. Nothing super bothered me until she started reading this poem.
Okay.
Are you going to read it?
No, I
Okay.
can. I have it here.
Don't read it.
I have it here.
Well, I'll cry. Yeah.
This movie is named after this poem.
Oh no.
The TV show named after this poem.
How many things are there?
There are 14 things in the poem. I was sitting there counting, and wait, I'm out of fingers. So then I'm Googling it, and I'm reading the
How many
poem.
fingers?
There's
How many fingers do people have?
14 things.
I hate about you.
14 things.
That just doesn't roll off the tongue. That's funny. I never thought to count them.
No.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
you brought
I just
that up.
took
Are
the
there,
word
like-
for it. Yeah.
Are there ands like that? So like some of them could be connected.
Yeah, they could be
Okay.
compound things.
You know, like
Yeah.
compound things. Like, do they go together?
I hate
Yeah.
you so much, it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme.
Wait, okay,
That's
those
not-
aren't things.
Those aren't things.
Those are two things.
No,
She's
no.
sick and rhymes.
No,
But those
aren't
aren't
things
things
she
she
hates.
hates. Those are consequences of the things. It's cause and effect. Those are effects, not the
Let's
cause.
break down this poem.
So you might actually be wrong here if you counted those.
Well, that's still 12.
I feel the need to read this.
All right, read it.
Read
Count
it.
for me.
Yep.
Okay.
I hate the way you talk to me. I hate the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate it when you stare. I hate your big dumb combat boots. And I hate the way you read my mind. I hate you so much it makes me sick. It even makes me rhyme. That's at least one.
Nope.
No.
I hate the way you're always right. I hate it when you lie. I hate it when you make me laugh. Even worse, when you make me cry. I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call.
That's one.
But mostly, I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close, not a little bit, not even at all.
So it's
That's
11
12.
things I hate about
Oh,
you.
11.
Yeah.
11 or 12. I don't know about the last one.
The last one's iffy, but that's 11 or 12 things I hate
So
about you.
still,
Either way, the
more
movie
than 10.
title's bullshit.
Yeah.
Either way,
It's a bullshit movie title. That gets a poot.
that
12 things still works though.
That's a poot. Huh?
14 wouldn't work, but 12 things.
12
would still
things I hate about
sound
you
okay.
still skins.
Yeah.
Also, that
Yeah.
poem sucks.
yeah.
It's not a good poem.
Was it even iambic pentameter? I don't know.
no.
No, it's just trash. And even if it was, it falls apart at the end. That's a sixth grader level poem.
Like, I feel like it doesn't really
it
go
was
with
raw
the
and real.
original poem, which was the intent. You know, like I feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of its own thing. But hey, you know,
So you're telling me that a 1990s teenage rom-com is flawed?
yes. I never said it was perfect.
No. That was just you, the royal you. Hot points. Let's do it. Hot points theme song. You have 90
All right.
seconds.
I have what?
90 seconds.
I have as many seconds as I need.
What the song says.
Yeah, tell him.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you guys, how do you think Heath
I
did?
think he's up there with Dude on the Wall.
He's not
no
up there with
shot.
Sundance.
No shot.
What'd you say,
That's-
Cole?
I think- That's a 2 to
He
1.
said he's not up there with Sundance, but
Right.
if I had to guess, I'd say
We
he
agree a
ends-
lot,
he
though.
ends at a 7 or an 8.
I'm
I would
going to say
think.
7. I would also say that A Night Still Heath is hotter than this Heath by
I'd say-
miles.
I'd say 8 or 9.
Oh yeah, he's in armor.
Well, we're not talking about A Knight's Tale.
Six
so
or
throw him away.
6 or 7.
6 or 7?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Did you give him an 8 or
Oh,
a
no.
9? For Christ's sake.
I said 7
Go
or
ahead.
8.
Go ahead.
So
Let's do
yeah,
hot
let's
points.
see what happens.
Hot
yeah.
points is a
We have
dictatorship
12
for
seconds
Daniel.
left in the music now.
we'll just keep looping it. It's fine. All right. So He got a +1 right off the bat, his first lines, because
Oh yeah.
in my living room was like, hot point as
God,
soon as
that
he
voice.
spoke. So that
I
brings
was
us
like, ooh.
to 6.
He just sounds like Crocodile Dundee.
No, he doesn't.
Aye,
It's
all
way
right,
hotter.
pleasure.
Way hotter than Crocodile Dundee. Thank
You
you.
head of a shark.
So, I know you guys see the Joker in his smile, but I do not.
Make it fast.
I think he has it's a little charming smile. It's a little, hey, I'm a little cheeky boy. So +1 for his little
He
locker
puts-
smile.
He puts the knife in my mouth.
So that brings us to a 6. We did lose 1 point for those leather pants he wore to the concert.
Those were rough, man.
Those were not good. Wait, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're back at a 6. So
I had to replay it.
there was a scene where they were in the bookstore. Something about that was hot to me. So that's a +1.
Just a bookstore?
He was like looking
He
at
walks in an establishment.
dude
and
that
just
likes
Context is
reading.
everything.
Woo,
I don't know. He was like looking at it through the books, doing a little peer, doing a little
doing
like,
a stalk. He was
flirt.
stalking.
He had to make.
Stalking, contextually hot.
Are you gonna argue with all of my hot points?
I mean, at this point,
They're my points. They're
hot
up to
stalker, Heath Ledger.
So we're at 7 now, or where are we at?
me. 5, 6, 7, 6, 7. We're at a 7.
Okay.
The bleacher scene, obviously hot point.
So we're wrong, Carl.
But he's singing. You don't usually like it when people sing.
This was different. See, this wasn't.
Okay.
I'm trying to be serious and like be an artist. This was like I'm being a goofball.
Yeah.
So it's different. Obvious hot point. So that brings us to an 8.
And he was an underdog. Normally, like when Top Gun, he was doing it as like, oh, look at me, I'm
Yeah.
singing to you. Like,
Yeah.
so it's different.
The attitude is completely
Wow,
different.
Top Gun is a bad movie.
Yeah.
So then at the end, he gives her the guitar and then they have a kiss. I think this was a hot kiss. There was a face grab. It was a good kiss. +1, which brings us to a 9.
9 out of 10.
Oh,
9 out of
smokes.
10.
So he's not in the 10
didn't-
club.
Well,
So didn't lose points for smoking, didn't lose points for lying or anything.
Yeah,
Nah.
genuinely being a delinquent.
well, okay. So you guys made
Being
me,
in a bookstore.
you guys made me question myself, and I'm
No,
not going to.
dictatorship.
No.
I had other,
9 is-
I had other things written down, which puts him at a 10. I think he deserves
Wow.
a 10.
Wow, he's a 10.
Hey.
He's the fourth 10
So he's up
ever.
there
He's
with
the
Butch
second
Cassidy.
10.
Second 10 ever, yeah. He's up there with...
I think I want to
I
reserve.
nailed it. I know my
Wow.
hot dudes.
Yeah.
I feel like 10s are at a special,
We
like
got that.
a special height, and I just feel like he deserves a 10.
Wait, so in A Knight's Tale,
so
how can he top
genuinely,
that?
between this movie and A Knight's Tale, which
I haven't-
Heath is hotter?
I haven't seen A Knight's Tale in a minute,
Oh, Jesus.
but probably A Knight's Tale
Probably A Knight's Tale.
because I don't know. I think
It's
yeah.
a better movie.
It's a better movie.
It's a really good movie.
And he's a knight.
It's his
It's an
tale.
action movie,
It's
or is
his
it
tale.
like what is? It's like
It's an action romance kind of film.
okay.
Comedy. It's a rom-com.
Okay.
It's hard. I don't know what it is. It's hard
it's
to
a lot
define.
of things. There's We Will Rock You is inexplicably in it.
Yeah, like,
full
it's-
instrumentation, and then they just move on. Like it's really good.
Well, it's set
Doesn't
in
it take
medieval.
place- okay,
it's set
yeah.
in medieval times, but there's modern music in it.
I don't like that.
you liked it in Django.
That was different. It was one song at the end, and it was hip hop.
There's a couple songs, and yeah, it was hip hop. No, it scans in the movie. The movie is very mid 2000s or whatever,
Yeah.
early 2000s. It made sense in the context, and it's a really good movie. Paul Bellamy
It's a
once
little bit
again
of everything.
crushes it in that film.
Action, comedy, little romance.
Drama,
It's a very funny movie.
a rom comedy. Is that a thing?
Yeah, we need to make that a
What
March
do you
movie
think
because
the
I want to watch it
com
right now.
stands for in rom-com? For you to invent a new thing
Wait.
called rom-comedy.
No, wait.
What do you think
Commercial?
the
Rom comma drama
rom-comedy
is where
You're trying
I was
to
going
get
with
all-
that.
all of
Yeah,
them?
yeah,
Okay, so rom-comedy was a slip, not a...
Yeah.
You do
Yeah,
understand
My
that
brain.
rom-com means romantic comedy.
You'll never guess
drama.
what com stands
Got
for.
it.
No, I know what
They
com
call it trauma.
Kamikaze.
And all the
Romantic
kids are
kamikaze.
into it.
I don't. What's the other comma? Romantic comma grammar.
What?
I don't know.
All right, moving on.
We're losing it.
Let's
We're
do,
just connecting dots here.
let's do the review portion of this movie. I'm gonna do Hitman or Miss. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's play Hoedown. Hitman or Miss, the official theme song of Hitman or Miss. I'm gonna go first. This movie's a mid for me. Romance is not my cup of tea, and teenage romance is a bridge too far. Give me a more grown-up, stupid rom-com with Hugh Grant or Ryan Reynolds. Is what I wrote down. I like the proposal.
All right.
A bridge too far.
It's a bridge too far. Danielle, hit or miss?
It's a hit for me.
One-
I was filled with joy watching it. Like, I know it's not like a masterpiece movie, but I still just, these feel like home to me.
That was a good catch.
So-
You know what else this movie had going up against it is I was looking up. This was right before Championship Sunday for the NFL.
Yeah.
So I was missing the pregame.
I'm so sorry you
Pregame
had
coverage.
to miss the
I'm gonna turn
pregame.
this off because it got loud. Yeah, so I'm just like, man, who's gonna start? What do the talking heads think? I'm watching Heath Ledger. So, Nick, what do you think?
The fact that this movie was under an hour and a half means that there's no way it could be a mid or
A miss.
a hit.
What?
I'm saying
Wait, what?
I butchered this. It's a mid.
What is the time?
I'm giving it a
What?
mid. I was just. I'm
he
trying to
means that
convey.
it's-
Hang on.
if-
Let me save myself.
Yeah, all right.
Trying to convey that
Let's see.
it meant so much to me that this movie was short that
That it
there's no
couldn't
way
be a miss.
it couldn't be a hit.
Right.
A mid.
You're saying
over again.
everything,
It's
but
all the things.
you're
I'm gonna
saying
give this a
everything
mid.
but miss.
Carl.
Carl, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I'm sure that's no surprise. I love
Yay,
everything almost. I think it was a hit. I liked the story. I thought it was fun. It was kind of.
I got one.
The tropes are funny, and the introduction of all the different characters, like the cowboys and the people rollerblading, and I thought that was hilarious. So it was fun. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think the thing at the end seemed like a quick turn face, but other than that,
Yeah.
like
So
Really
2
enjoyable.
hits, 2 mids. No banger. Doesn't deserve to be a banger, I don't think.
No.
I think even in a vacuum, I wouldn't want to give this the seal. Even if all 4 of us are like, what a good movie. Nope.
Yeah.
I have one more.
still love it.
I have one more thing. I have a new dictatorial scale for my personal self for this month. In that there are only 2 rom-coms that I like, really, of the couple I've seen. And the question I will be asking myself this month personally will be, did I like this as much as The Big Sick or The Proposal? No, not even close. Not even close. And The Proposal's a bad movie, but I like it. The Big Sick is...
Do you just like Ryan Reynolds?
I do. But not... And I like Sandra Bullock.
She's great.
And I think both of them is not a pair I would think would work on screen, but that movie's really funny. And I like it.
Are we watching?
No, we are not. And The Big Sick is just what a good movie. That's a
that
perfect,
movie
that's a
transcends
perfect
genre,
movie.
kind of.
So no, not as good. Not a good rom-com. I don't think I'd ever watch that again.
Damn.
But I think a lot of that, again, like I've expressed, is my fault, not the movie's fault. But nonetheless,
Well-
there are innocent bystanders in many crimes, and this movie happens to be one. So mid, I won't give it a miss because I wasn't like
You were
beating my
mad
head
about
on the
it.
wall. But it's no The Proposal, that's for sure.
Well, none of the other ones in this bucket take place in high school. So
I know.
we'll see how that changes your opinion.
I'm pretty excited to learn what the next
oh.
movie is. So why don't you do us the honor?
I know what I want it to be. I want it to be my favorite one. But
I have a strong
It's-
feeling it will be.
it's really hard to pull tickets when there's only
3.
3.
I'm feeling
I feel like mine has to be next. It's
Feeling
not going to be next.
Hanks-ish.
It's not what I want.
right now.
Damn it. I pulled High Society.
Oh,
Which
High
is
Society.
Cameron's choice.
I love this movie. So this
It's
is the
good.
one that requires explanation. This is technically, by Wikipedia's definition,
Oh my God.
a rom-com. It is also a movie from the 1950s, Nick.
Oh, Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra in co-starring roles. The dog is eating the ticket.
It's okay.
Oh,
I
no.
got it. I retrieved it.
53 episodes, and she's never done that.
She decided tonight was the night.
Tonight is the night. New haircut, new bee.
New baby.
So it is a movie from the 50s. It stars Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby. It is my favorite.
And Grace Kelly.
And Grace Kelly. It's my favorite Sinatra film I've seen thus far in my Frank Sinatra Spirit Quest. I think it's a very good movie. I think it's very enjoyable. It is rom-comish. There's two couples similar to the movie we just watched, except for this one's good. And I'm interested to see what you think about it. It's very fun. Songs in it are great. I mean, it's Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra. What the hell do you want?
How can you go wrong?
And it is what I will suggest is dimly lit room and a cocktail while you watch this. Maybe
I will do.
several cocktails. Indulge as they did, and there's a very, very good scene with Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra in a like drawing room, like a dimly lit bookshelves, leather chairs, bar, and I want to live in that room. And it's a really good movie. I think you enjoyed it a lot when we watched it last year.
I did indeed.
So I'm an old soul. I love my Sinatra, and this is my favorite one. This is right up there with Ocean's 11 for me. So I kind of wanted this one to be last because it's the least rom-com-ish. But you know what? This
That'd be a
one,
nice palate cleanser.
Yeah, this next one will come after Valentine's Day too. So whatever. So yeah, cocktails, the 1950s, Frank Sinatra, and you all next time on the Big Room.